Call this video Elon Musk, his successes, and his being a dangerous influencer of our nation's future. I feel I needed to do this entry in a video about Elon Musk and why, after buying Twitter, he may be the most dangerous influencer in replacing our capitalistic democracy with a dictatorship-rich oligarch-run nation. First, we need to see how he made his first millions. I include a link to my comments here to a success story documentary that was done in 2019 that chronicles Musk's early successes. The YouTube video link will be shown in my comments, but for you to see them, it's just a YouTube link. To start, how can we analyze the current state of Elon Musk's businesses? It is my opinion that Elon has done so well over the past 20 plus years because he is brilliant in understanding technologies. First Zip2, then PayPal, and now Tesla and SpaceX. The danger with the purchase of Twitter is that he has too much money, too much influence over the lives of too many employees and politicians, especially Republican politicians that seem to be always in favor of making more money, whether that means eliminating our democracy to do it or whatever else. Bribery, maybe even murder. So these are concepts that I think we all have to grapple with. So his too much influence is there. I think we all can agree to that. But he's willing to replace our capitalistic democracy with a dictatorship and rich oligarch regime is just his desire to make his businesses even more successful than they already are. And that's why he wants to replace our capitalistic democracy with a dictatorship-rich oligarch-run regime where those people will bow to his will and make more of us his slaves. He has gotten into technologies where he can rally people and employees behind the concepts where he can get employees to work 70, 80, 90 hours per week to get the job done, and he can rally voters behind those concepts to push government politicians to support those concepts as well. What is it in Tesla? Well, first he pushed electric vehicles, something that we might not have had for another 30 years if it weren't for Elon. Then he pushed battery technology. He understands that if we can get approximately 600 miles out of a vehicle, that's about what you can drive in a day. So you can then recharge the vehicle while you're sleeping or while you're just getting around town with an Uber. I can't believe that so many analysts thought that Tesla was a car company. But its most important asset is its artificial intelligence technology, and the artificial intelligence technology behind autonomously driven vehicles. For SpaceX, it was get to the moon, then on to Mars and beyond. To do that, Elon recognized that you must reduce the cost per kilogram of getting payloads into space, and again, improve autonomous flight. So human error is removed from the success equation. So why has Elon purchased Twitter, and why are things not going so well? I think what we need to do is look at the whole concept of autonomous driving, and I'll cover that in a video. Look at SpaceX and where it is right now with the first stage and then the various various first stages and then the various base stages that will basically move tons of material, hundreds of tons of material into space at one time. And then look at what Elon has done in trying to give us the impression that in Twitter he's throwing out everything, including the kitchen sink, and he's going to make it over again. Okay, so how can we look at that in the light that I'm talking about? Well, this first video is part of that 2019 video.
You can't do this. Your answer to them is, we're done it. Hello and welcome to Stories of Success, a new YouTube channel that...
So this is the Stories of Success, and they talk about a number of... This one is focused on Elon and his early successes with making his first 150 million. And I'm just showing excerpts of that documentary to kind of give you an idea of how it's staged. Boca Chica, and basically building the engines from scratch, coming up with new ideas to make the engines more efficient. As I say, these are just excerpts. But it also shows you how excited people can get around these concepts, because Elon's going to get us to space again. And he's going to make cars whose batteries are efficient enough so we can charge them once, go 600 miles, go and have dinner while our car is recharging and sleep overnight, and then go another 600 miles. Or go to moon, go to the Mars. Some of these videos also show the most powerful rocket that's ever flown so far, which is super heavy. This is a SpaceX rocket. And then he talks about Starlink, which is a low orbit based internet system that will allow people anywhere on the earth to have internet access. So all of these are elements of the documentary. And then finally Zip 2, which is, this is more of the...
In early 1995, the Musk brothers created a web startup called...
And I'm not going to stress you, but I'll talk a little bit about this video. It starts with the 1980s and Musk growing up in South Africa, then coming to Canada, and then getting his degrees, and basically seeing how this Zip 2 product can be a future of the internet and a future of being able to navigate from point A to point B. He was trying to get companies to sign up for people being able to use this app and navigate to their front door from anywhere on the globe. His partner is shown there. There's Elon, I think in the 90s, and how the whole map system worked. Very similar to what we have now with Google Maps or Apple Maps. And the fact that he could write code to make all of these things come true was very powerful. In the first, I think he made 12 million by selling Zip 2. His partner Kimball was an eternal optimist and helped Elon with the business side of things in many situations so Elon could focus on the technology involved. But what this gets to is, and the fact that they had a long-term business partnership, and finally got his first 12 million, I think, from selling Zip2, but then realizing that the next thing that he needed to do was write code for PayPal, and so he developed the whole PayPal concept, and was told many times that he wouldn't be able to get banks to accept that, but he did. And of course, we know with Tesla and with flying some of his first Tesla vehicles into space, or his first Tesla vehicle into space, was a promotional ad to really help us all to understand what Elon was doing. Now, this first part says, okay, so the guy's 27 years old and makes his first $12 million in the sales of Zip2. But then he moved on to push PayPal and the whole idea that you could, without using a bank, could use credit cards to pay others through a PayPal account. Now this is where he made his real money. The Bank of Nova Scotia was basically those that really understood what he was doing, and every time somebody would say, no, you can't do it that way, he'd say, why not? And he'd say, yes, we will be able to do it this way. So finally he was able to sell this, I believe, to eBay, and his for about $1.3 billion, and his cut in that was about $180 million. So that's what got him started. That's what got him thinking, developing Tesla. That's what got him thinking and developing SpaceX. I won't show any more of this because you get the idea of where it's coming from. You can watch the whole video documentary with the link I provide. But the last short that I'm going to show you involves the latest version of autonomous driving in a Tesla. And notice that it detects vehicles, it detects people walking along the streets, and it makes its decisions based on whether it has to stop to allow somebody to cross the road or whatever. Here's a person coming along the street, but it's walking down the road. So the AI code decides that it can continue on. Notice that when it comes up to this intersection, it detects a bunch of vehicles to the left. Every one of the vehicles that are actually there, that you're actually seeing waiting as the stoplight turns green for him, is in the animated part of this video. So they're almost there. And this was a video that was made on the latest version of code in November, around November 17th of 2022, just a few days ago. The last part I'm going to show is
Sink in, and right there you can see him walking into Twitter headquarters, smiling, holding a large sink. Musk also changed.
so holding a large sink. Now, why a large sink? Well, it's because Elon's going to throw out everything, including the kitchen sink, and start over with Twitter. But my fear to all of this is that his decision to do this is based on, so why has Elon purchased Twitter, and why are things not going so well? I believe the reason is Elon's current level of wealth and control over the future of so many people and so many employees has caused him to lose any concept of a moral compass. With Tesla and SpaceX, he can rally people and employees around the core concepts behind the businesses without a need for a moral compass. But with Twitter, I believe his reasoning is to replace our capitalist democracy with a dictatorship, rich oligarch-run regime. And he sees that the Republicans are quite willing to do that. They're quite willing to stand behind Trump. They're quite willing to take away women's rights by standing behind right to life groups. They're ready basically to put us in that dictatorship, rich oligarch-run regime. And why is he doing this? Because he'll have more control over politicians and government policies around his businesses. He sees how billionaires like Murdoch have been able to manipulate people to embrace a fascist, racist, authoritarian, neo-Nazi, cult-generating point of view. I call it a frank point of view. Murdoch has done this by directing how things are presented on Fox News and Fox Media channels, the New York Post newspaper, and the Wall Street Journal. These are businesses he owns and can manipulate the content of. And Elon wants to be able to do that, basically give voices back through Twitter. So he wants to, again, give dictator oligarch wannabes like Trump, DeSantis, and Cruz a powerful, influential voice again. And he thinks that our government and basically our rule of law and legal system can't function fast enough to stop him. Well, I hope they can. The problem is too many people prefer a capitalistic democracy, and there are many fewer willing to accept a frank core concept for their future. Without the core concept that Tesla and SpaceX-based businesses have allowed employees to rally around, Elon has discovered he can't just tell employees at Twitter to come back into the office and crack down and start working 70, 80, 90 hours per week to revitalize Twitter. This is just my opinion, but I believe it's based on a number of facts and a number of observations, and when someone doesn't have a moral compass, like Elon doesn't have because of the amount of money and control over the lives of so many people, that he is willing to do this. Basically, he sees it as just making his businesses more successful, but I see it as replacing our capitalistic democracy with a dictatorship / rich oligarch run regime. That's just my opinion. What do you think? I'll also put in there what my Facebook entries are, because I include all of this textual information on Facebook on my Facebook page, which is al.forster.16. Thank you for listening.